Alright, hello everybody, Skyrim here, back again with another Diablo Immortal video. I just finished recording this and I made it way too long, so I'm gonna just kind of do a bit more of a cliff notes on this now that I've seen what I want to focus on here. So, means nothing to you because you didn't see it. Alright, here we go. Let's go ahead and get to one of the more important things here. There are a couple discrepancies between the two sides of the notes here. I have on the left, I have the Blizzard global notes. On the right-hand side, I have the Chinese, Google translated, mind you, of course, NetEase Chinese notes. Okay, so we'll get to the discrepancies right now, because there are two of them out of this entire list, which is fine, I guess. I mean, it's more than last time, so yeah, they're kind of slipping again. But anyway, here we go. First thing is this legendary gem priority drop rate. This thing's going to take place from the 10th to the 31st. So save up your crests. You got a little bit of time anyway to make use of this if you're, free to play like me. I haven't used too many recently, but I did use a lot a while ago, so I'm kind of hurting as far as the crests go. And but anyway, limited time event that provides priority drop rates and Elder Rifts when hunting coveted 5-star legendary gems. During the event, you can select 8 5-star legendary gems for an improved chance for them to drop. Now, this is the part that I don't like. It's the fact that they say 8. I would much prefer it to be much smaller than that. I would much prefer it to be just 3. I'd be happy with 3, because that way you're getting closer to the one you actually want. This one is still leaving too much to random chance and whatever. And 8's a little too high of a number. I honestly think it should be 3 would be ideal. I'd even settle for 5, but 8 is just too much. Okay. Now here's the discrepancy. Whenever a 5-star legendary gem drops, there is a 50% chance it will be one of those 8 you chose. Okay, 50% chance of that. So it's not a guaranteed, it's a 50% chance of that, of getting the one you wanted out of the 8, mind you. So it's still too much of a muddied pool, I think, to be honest, in this. Now, the discrepancy here is between the two notes. This one says adventurers can select 8 legendary gems, blah, blah, blah. That's the same. When a legendary gem is obtained, there is a 60% chance of obtaining one of the 8 selected gems. So it says 60% over here, 50% on global. So take that for what you will. Either way, the drop rates, as we all know, are very terrible. Anyway, so I would probably more lean into the 50% being correct. Sadly, it might actually be the 60%, but it probably still won't feel like it for most of us anyway, so take that for what you will. All right, so there's that for that. That's one of the discrepancies here. And then here we go, battlefield or battlegrounds. Anyway, that is fishing. There's a fishing event coming up. It's whatever. If you like fishing, hey, cool. I just basically want to cover the discrepancies and the nerfs they've done recently here to try to keep this as short as possible this time. The most important things anyway. Oh yeah, there's a party PvP event which is coming up. I don't know how to feel about that because class balancing has always been still and remains to be terrible in this game because the devs don't play their own games. That's obvious at this point when it comes to their poor PvP balancing as compared to other PvP games out there. So it is what it is. Take that for what you will. It will be interesting. We'll just have to wait and see when this actually goes live to get into the bare bones of it and pick it apart. So I'm going to hold off kind of on this one and wait and see once it goes live. Because reading it is one thing, but actually putting it into practice is an entirely other thing, which is the case in most things. Of course, the sickening portal is finally going live for the Frostmourne event, crossover event, whatever. Of course, with only real money purchase to get it, blah, and it says limit only 1 per character. So also keep that in mind if you are wanting to get that. It says limit 1 per character. Yeah, anyway. that's that for that. Now, returning events, the usual fare. I'm not going to go into those at all because, you know, Survivor's Bane's coming back. That's cool. I actually like it. I know a lot of people have a lot of bug issues, unfortunately, with it, which is unfortunate because it actually is a pretty fun event anymore, especially with all the modifiers they put onto it when it works. When it works, you can still get a substantial amount of experience and gear out of it. So, obviously, if you can play it, get in there and make the most of it. It's kind of, I'd say, Fractured Plane first and then Survivor's Bane next, as far as the events that I prefer to do the most. This fishing event, again, that's not what I was looking for. Where is it? There is... not there. Anyway, there is a Battleground update here, and I got to find it because I want to do a side-by-side comparison. I already have it on the Chinese notes here. There it is, Battleground Season 3. So that should already give you a, like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? We're on Season 6 for Battlegrounds right now. What do you mean Season 3? This one will begin on July 10th, and it runs through August 12th. So this one's the month. So that should give you right there what this actually is. It's Tower Wars. Okay, it's not Battleground. It's Tower Wars. Okay, so this is Tower Wars Season 3, obviously, because this is the third iteration that we're going to get of it. And yeah, so that's the discrepancy there. Take that for what you will. They're making changes for the Chinese version that has no implications to us in global, so I can tell you what that is, but I'm not really going to get into that necessarily because I feel like it's not necessary. Let's get into the nerfs, or no, yeah, this is... They're changing a couple pieces of wizard, so that's fine. They're getting buffed. So the Frozen Wellspring Meteor Shower, which is the ice meteor shower of the pants, the cast time is getting reduced, so it's a little bit more, I don't want to say instant, but it's faster. And the damage is getting increased on that one by 25%. So take that for what you will. Again, I forget. I think that's probably strifed in Battlegrounds. So that is what it is. Let's see what else. And then the shoulders. The shoulder piece, Fortuitous Ward, Teleport, which you get a shield when you use a teleport. The shield provided by teleport also grants immunity. But, don't get too excited now, because it only gives you a single instance of total loss of control immunity. One. There's too many CCs out there that do multiple ticks. So it might get its use. It might be able to be stacked with some other shields from, say, the Paragon trees and Mountain Bank and what have you. So there might be that, perhaps, but then those don't give you immunity to CCs, so you're really hinging on the fact that this is going to provide it. You have to do a lot of anticipating of, say, like in this case, I'll give you an example. Tempest, whenever they charge in with their dashes, they usually do the stun right afterwards with their, I forget which skill it is, or which skill it is. The water waves and the big puddles. Now, granted, I'm thinking if they do the stun, you would have to teleport into them if you see them coming, so you get yourself a shield already and have that ready for when they would dash into you and try to pop the stun. Now, I'm wondering if, again, this is, this is going to be one of those feel-out processes along the way we're going to have to find over time when this patch goes live. If the Zephyrs that they have, if they're anywhere remotely close to you with those massive amounts of pools, if that would hit you, if that would count as a separate, instance of CC. So you might avoid their one where they're jumping on top of your face and not get stunned with that one if you have the shield up. Again, you have to predetermine this and have that ready ahead of time for this to work that way. But then their Zephyrs might tag you, and then you're getting stunned anyway. So who knows? We'll have to wait and see how well that's going to work. Again, another form I thought of was the Necromancer Wormhelm, perhaps. You might be able to dash if you see a Necromancer in front of you and get the shield on you, get it ready with the shoulders, but then their barbs are usually multiple, so they'll probably tag you a bunch of times whenever they do their spray if they're wearing the worm helm, and that would probably negate that, and you'd still be locked in place forever. So I don't know. And then again, somebody also mentioned, I think, about the barbarian chains that have a pull and pull you towards them. They do that multiple times, so it's like you think you can escape it, but then you get pulled in anyway. So that might help with the initial pull from a distance. So that one might actually be worthwhile. But again, you have to have the shield up already. So you have to burn a teleport right out the gate to get that shield and have it ready, and it's for literally in anticipation of a CC to hit you. So you get one, get out of jail free card, but that's it. And most times there's just multiple stacks of CCs in a big mess over like the idols and such. So I don't know exactly how well this is going to be put into practice, but we'll see. We'll see. Okay, so I gave my in-depth knowledge skill of situations and examples possibly on that one ahead of time, hopefully, for Wizard. That's the best I can do for that one. And I don't want to go on too much longer on it because I've already gone on long enough. Tempest nerfs. These are Tempest nerfs. Okay. Zephyr Guard, Flowing Strike, cooldown is increased from 6 to 7.5. So they added a 2.5 increased cooldown to it. Across the board, across all the mastery reductions and your awakenings, blah, blah, blah. It's getting whatever it is, whatever you got on Tempest right now for all that stuff factored in, add a 2.5 to that for cooldown now. So it is what it is. I don't know how up in arms people are going to be over that, but we'll see. We'll see. Again, not in practice until the patch goes live. We'll just have to wait and see how that pans out over time. Let's see. And then the Flowing Strike magic attribute, the shield granted by using Flowing Strike on the essence itself. Not sure, not the abuse of stacking from the Eternal Gears that makes that even higher and even worse, actually. This will reduce all of that, though, by 15%. Flowing Strike has had its absorb amount reduced by 15%. So there's that one. I do want to bring it up over here on the other side. Here it is. Because they actually say, they go into a little bit more in-depth detail over it. Wave Flash, Flowing Strike, Shield, 3 seconds. That lasts for 3 seconds while casting the skill. Okay. So that's the other thing that was bad, I think. Oh no, that the Flowing Strike cooldown increased. No, that's different. Never mind. The Shield, 3 seconds, absorbs 109. Now its value is reduced from 109 to 92.65. So that must be the 15% they're referring to. So yeah, there you go. That's a little bit more in-depth detail. Skill backswing has been slightly shortened for Wizard on the cast time. Yeah, skill backswing has been slightly shortened, so that means cast time. Yeah, for the Frozen Wellspring, or Frozen Spring they say, but Frozen Wellspring, yeah. Okay, so there's that for those. And one other thing that they've neglected, we're getting rune changes, but that's whatever. All these other ones are just quality of life stuff for the most part. I'm not really going to go into too much, and then there's the Blacksmith and Court of Whispers, which is great and all, but I would always use the Warband teleport while I was in there anyway to do all my stuff, and I felt that was perfectly fine, but I guess this is one less step. Honestly, they need to put an armory, I think, if anything else, into the Court of Whispers instead, but that might add to a bunch more lag because it's going to be everybody's armory, I think, loading into that area. And well, I don't know, I mean, they do that in the other map anyway above, but I don't know, maybe they honestly, I think, should put an armory in instead of the Blacksmith, but whatever. Shadow goals, this one's interesting to me, and I'm not in Shadows, of course, right now, but this one, it used to be you would get your 3 Shadow quests at the start of the week for your weeklies, and then you'd have to go through, burn at least 2 of them down before you see another one show up. This time it sounds like as soon as you complete one, it will keep 3 on there all the time until you get towards the end. So that's good. I just wish we'd have more of a pick and choose option like the Immortals get to completing theirs, but it's whatever. region specific. Chinese battlegrounds, their Tower Wars anyway is their Tower Wars is going to be crazy over there. They're not getting, they get to keep their HP and damage values that they have all the time in PvE, which is crazy, especially for the whales. So they get to have that in the Tower Wars, which is, I think that's pretty sickening, to be honest. So good. I'm glad we're not getting that in global, but this is what they're getting. And then additionally over there, they also get a 25% damage reduction in the Tower War, which is odd. So you're giving like the whales all this, but then you're giving everybody, including the whales, 25% damage reduction. So I think that's kind of a moot point, but hey, I don't know, whatever. And then the bug fixes, they don't do ever on here until like days, if not sometimes like a week later for their bug fixes. But here you go. It's in the patch notes already here for the Chinese ones. And take this for what you will. The first one here, I'm just going to cover these and then this is it. Sorry. Thank you for hanging in there with me. I do appreciate it. I do appreciate each and every one of you. This is a magic affix of a dash ability. After using a displacement skill dash ability, the player will enter a stealth state, ignoring unit collision, which is, you know, passing through enemies and traps, which lasts for a 1.2 seconds. It can only take once every 9 seconds. Stealth state. So you go into stealth for like, you know, 1.2 seconds, but it can only occur once every 9 seconds. Now here, they fixed the issue that says where the player will become untargetable. This says unselectable. This is just a Google Translate, obviously. So I guess they were becoming untargetable, and that was another way that people were probably abusing that function on the magic affixes that was introduced. So hopefully that'll be fixed when this patch goes live, and that won't be abused as much. So that was probably another thing that I'm sure Tempest were using. So we'll see how that pans out as well. I'm not familiar with too much of these other ones for you barbarians out there, so you can let me know in the comments or talk amongst yourselves about it, and you'll know how it applies to you. Spark Fang, I think, is Spark Tusk. That's the only thing I got from a Discord that I was in. Yeah, Spark Tusk. So Spark Fang, in this case, is Spark Tusk. They fixed the issue where you would not get the stun if you got hit when you went to use it. So apparently the stun will be able to be pulled off now, if I'm reading that correctly. And then the other one here, I don't know what the other one refers to, because again, this is Google Translate, so you'll have to figure it out for yourselves. And it'll probably make more sense to you right off the bat, but I'm not a barbarian main, and I've never actually touched the class in the game myself at all. So there you go for that one. And then same with the Necromancer. I'm not entirely sure which one they're talking about here. Necromancer's legendary equipment, Unburied Tomb and Devourer, having abnormal skill backswing times. So there might have been like longer cast times, I think is what they're referring to. So they might have fixed it on these particular couple of essences. I don't know. But there you go. Anyway, that's all I'm going to cover. That's enough, honestly. I still went on longer than I planned, but that's the most key points out of both of these, I think, that are worth anything to kind of go over. The gem thing is going to be interesting, I suppose. I don't know. I really wish they would reduce the amount to gems to choose from. 8 is already too many to get the ones you really want. And there's only a couple that are still mostly that much more viable to most of us in general. I think they should reduce that to 3. If anything, at least 5, but they won't. It's already set in stone here, obviously, what they're going to do with that event. And then the discrepancy, again, one more time, between the two. One saying 60%, the other one saying 50%. I don't know. Either way, the drop rates, as we all know, is just usually terrible, regardless of the fact. So they can put any number on there, and we'd still be like, there's no way. So anyway, that's it, everybody. Until next time. As you can see, I was in game, and I was going to try to have some background music, but I had to use both monitors to put these notes side by side, so you get what you get. Disconnected due to, yeah. Anyway, Until next time, everybody, take care of yourselves out there. Stay safe in the real world and fire as always. Take things one day at a time. It's the best we can do. Until next time, see ya.